Marvel's The Punisher Season 2 doesn't end on a cliffhanger or have some crazy end credits scene, but we still have some burning questions about the ending and what might be in store for Frank Castle in Season 3, if the series can somehow avoid cancellation. We took our questions straight to Punisher showrunner Steve Lightfoot, so if you want to know the answers, beware, spoilers ahead. Frank really runs Billy through the ringer in the Season 1 finale, but he survives the encounter. Billy's not so lucky in Season 2, though. Steve Lightfoot admits they didn't know Jigsaw would die when they started writing Season 2, but ended up deciding that if Jigsaw lived, it wouldn't ring true. He told us that, quote, "The story of Frank and Billy is so tragic. It's a story about brothers who betrayed each other. Those two should have always been there for each other." Lightfoot also revealed that there was a version of the ending conceptualized where Billy might die in Frank's arms, but that, quote, "It just felt true to Frank and who he'd become that he would never forgive Billy. He would always put him down. Frank has learned to admit to himself that this is who I am." That understanding allows him to go on being the Punisher full-time. Lightfoot says he loves Micro and Amy, and seeing as they are alive, he would like to bring them back. Frank fought to and eventually succeeded in giving Micro and Amy their lives back throughout Season 1 and 2. But Lightfoot told us that, quote, "At the same time, he's made it much harder for himself to ever have a normal life, as he becomes more and more of a loner and an outcast." So it sure sounds like we could see Micro and Amy if there's a Season 3. Throughout the series, Frank strives to find himself and his moral code, and Agent Madani is doing the same thing. Lightfoot says after Season 1, Madani couldn't return to the life she had, and that, quote, "Being around Frank made the idea of law and justice difficult for her to live with, and therefore she went to live and work in a more morally gray environment like the CIA." Lightfoot says both Madani and Curtis felt like they could be like Frank in their pursuit of Billy, but in the end, quote, "That wasn't their nature, and they can't be what Frank is, because they have moral misgivings that he doesn't." Regardless, it's clear that a little bit of Frank has rubbed off on them. Steve Lightfoot says Season 2 is about Frank, quote, "finding a new fight that he didn't have to take but chose to, and realizing that this is who he is and who he's always going to be." But what about Season 3? Well, according to Lightfoot, in Season 3, we would meet Frank in Punisher mode. In Season 3, Lightfoot says there would be less self-doubt, and that, quote, "We would meet him in mid-battle against dark forces." The big question, as Lightfoot puts it, what sort of trouble does that purity of thought get him into? We'll have to see if we'll get a chance to see all that play out. Do you want a Season 3? Tell us in the comments section, and don't forget to check out John Bernthal breaking down the big bar fight from Episode 1, as well as our explainer on Jigsaw. And as always, be sure to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.